Hello, and welcome to Issues and Insights on HCEC-TV. We're all sitting apart, so we're going to take our masks off if we choose at our level of comfort. As I said, my name is Holly Sexton, and I represent Abound Credit Union as public relations and a financial education professional. If you'd like to increase your financial IQ, please visit us at aboundcu.com and click the Learn tab. And all you need is 5 minutes to increase your financial IQ. And today we're going to increase our IQ and understanding of how schools are bringing service and discipline and encouragement and life skills and more. So we're so happy to have you with us today for this journey on Issues and Insights. Let's introduce our guests. First, to my right, if you would.
I am Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Katero Arnold.
Nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
Hi.
I am Cadet Command Sergeant Major Alan Varble.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I am Lieutenant Colonel Retired Scott Fowler, the Senior Army Instructor for North Hardin High School, JRTC.
And how do you prefer to be addressed?
You can call me Colonel or Sir.
Colonel? Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for being here today. And we're going to talk about JROTC and the benefits, and we're going to talk about service and so many other things that are impacting our schools, because JROTC is really in the heart of Hardin County schools, and there's a lot of passion for it. So I'm glad to have you all here today. So let's talk more about JROTC. How many are in the program, and what's your location?
Well, again, we're located at North Hardin High School. Been there since 1993, the program has. Typically, we have about 200 to 210 on initial enrollment, and we pretty much maintain that throughout the year.
So what's the mission of JROTC?
The mission is to inspire younger people to be better citizens, and for me, that it's given me the help that I need, that I feel I need to help me join the Army myself, which in my opinion is the best way to help your community.
Fantastic. And what about you? How has JROTC and the mission impacted you?
Just like me and Colonel Fowler were talking to our company the other day, personally it's made me step out of my comfort zone. As a freshman, I was a little bit on the shyer side, but as I continued into the program, we started doing like presentations in front of our cadets. And I know that I'm going to need to come out of my comfort zone in the future, because I aspire to be a registered nurse, so I'm definitely going to need contact with people. So I believe it's helped me a lot. That's
fantastic. So that shows another facet of involvement in JROTC and career preparedness and readiness in general, which aligns with the military.
Yes, ma'am.
So the program has been going on since 1993. Sir, what's been your experience as transitioning and being a veteran? What has been your experience in the school system and the students and how they've evolved with the program since 1993? What's changed?
Well, obviously COVID has changed a lot. Yeah. I got on board in February of 2018. And we have a myriad of students. We have all kinds of students at North Hardin High School. I would say one common denominator for all these children is the need for structure. And ROTC provides that. The JRTC program provides the structure. Particularly, you're looking at the uniforms. Okay, they have to wear that once a week. They have to wear it to a standard. They are inspected by a cadet, usually a senior, so they have to go through an inspection. And it's something that instills in them a little sense of pride, and that goes a long way.
Let's talk about that a little bit more. How does that weekly inspection impact you personally?
Me personally, I enjoy wearing the uniform. I think it looks, pretty good.
Oh, you look sharp.
Thank you, ma'am. I think it brings the cadets together, because we all dress the same, so I think it brings like unity with us all, and it shows the cadets to have like standards. So you have to have your hair a certain way, your ribbons, shave. So I think it brings like Colonel Fowler said, structure to each one, because when we get into the future, everyone's going to need to do things a certain way. So this is preparing you for the future, just to go ahead and start it that way.
And what about you, sir?
Kind of go on what she said. I think the uniform is something that it brings us all together. You could be a fellow student, not know who's in the program all week, and then that one day we wear it, that's how you know it's like, okay, they do it. And it's the one thing that I'd say brings all the cadets together. Because by the time you hit your senior year, most of the time with the people in that senior class, you're pretty close with them. You know them pretty well. And truth be told, I think without, that initial push in freshman year, I probably wouldn't be friends with half the people I'm friends with.
So it sounds like it helps create a sense of community, which in high school, that can be tough, like fitting in. So I appreciate that social component too, and feeling like you may have a battle buddy that you didn't know about that you're in chemistry class with, or, you find out through that way. So that's pretty exciting. So as I mentioned, the program's been there since 1993 and very strong and growing. Now that we've talked about the mission of JROTC, let's talk about citizenship and how it's helped our 2 students here to be better citizens. Yeah.
Well, for me, like I said, it's made me come out my comfort zone, and I believe JROTC has made me a better person. I'm better at time management.
That's huge
yes,
when
ma'am.
adulting.
Yeah. I used to not be so good with time, like, getting ready, getting up, but with JROTC, I enjoy getting up in the mornings. Like competitions, I used to love going to competitions.
Pre-COVID, right?
Yes,
yeah.
pre-COVID. Going to practices. I love being with my JROTC. We're more than cadets. We're more like a family. So I believe I've gained some brothers and sisters, and yeah.
That's fantastic. And what about you, sir?
So far as citizenship goes and being a better citizen, we do various events throughout the year. Like pre-COVID, we'd help park at the state fair. We always do a canned food drive, as many people know. And just through those events, we help out in the community. Sure, maybe at the state fair it's not here in Hardin County, but it's still in the Kentucky community, and it helps out others.
And I'm sure there's lots of experiences that you've gained from that as well. So, sir, let's talk about positions and duties of being a commander and leading these young people.
Yeah, so the seniors are handpicked. So we look at our students from freshman through junior year, and typically you start off with about 60 to 80 freshmen. It kind of like, if you can imagine a pyramid, and then you have about 60 sophomores, and then you have about 40 juniors. And not all of those juniors are going to get handpicked. We pick about 25 to 30 seniors. What we're looking for is
out of that 200.
Out of the junior class.
Oh, okay.
Out of the junior class, which is typically about 40 students. So we look at your history. How much have you participated in the program? How much skin in the game did you have? Did you participate? Did you volunteer? Did you help? Were you on any of our teams? Are you showing leadership? Do you have good? You're not in trouble at school. Are you a model citizen?
Oh, so good academic standing.
Academic standings, and you're not in any detentions or anything like that. So if you're a cut above everybody else and you've got leadership skills, then we've got a job for you as a senior in the program. We're going to reward you with some leadership. And so these 2 typically are your top 2 of the top 30 cadets that are left as seniors. These are typically your top 2. We've put them in these positions because we felt they were the best fit for that position. So these 2 cadets that you're sitting here, they've earned this position. It took them 4 years to earn it.
Wow, well, congratulations to you both. So let's talk about leadership. We've talked about citizenship, we'll talk about service in the future, but the component with JROTC extends into leadership. We're talking about career readiness, time management. If you were to talk about, and feel free to brag, if you were to talk about these 2 individually, what leadership skills do you see that they formed over the last 4 years?
Number 1, they're solid. Okay, you can count on them. So if you were to ask any employer today, they would say, what are you looking for? Well, one, they want someone that shows up. Number 2, they want them to show up on time. Number 3, they want them to be dependable. These 2 cadets, and along with all of our seniors, have shown that. So we feel like by the time they graduate, they're career ready. We've helped them get to be a career ready level. And we just want, again, make them better citizens, okay? So that when they graduate, they are ready to go either into a job or they're ready to go to higher education.
And when you talk to them, and not that you surveyed or anything, what do you see that path leading to? Is it split? Is it 50-50? Are they more likely to go into the military? Or
Well,
what
typically
do
you have
typically
about
see?
40% go into the military. So that leaves about, I'd say out of the remaining 60%, about 30 to 40% of those go to a higher education. And that could be nowadays that could be online classes, it could be Elizabethtown Community College, it could be going to a University of Kentucky, or it could be going to a career class like welding or HVAC training or stuff like that. So typically about 40% go right into the military. Now some go into the military and they do it for college money. So you kind
I
of
was going
split
to ask
that up.
about that. Yeah. Are there benefits?
Oh, absolutely. Like if you join the National Guard or Army Reserves or Naval Reserves, they will pay for your college because you're not 100% 24/7 a soldier, a sailor, or an airman. So if you go into the reserve component of any one of those, you're going to need a full-time job or you're going to be in college. And those programs have ways of paying for your college. While you're going to college, they're going to pay for your schooling. And that seems to be a benefit that a lot of our students take advantage of in the past few years.
Do you get feedback from the military, the branches in the military, with JROTC students? Do you hear that they seem to transition better from being a high school student into the military?
Well, not necessarily from the military. We tend to get letters, emails, sometimes text messages from the students who graduated. They'll say, thank you for not giving up on me, thank you for giving me that leadership position, because now when I got to basic training, I felt like I'd been there before, and this was not all foreign to me. So it's surprisingly, right after graduation or once they get to basic training, you start getting messages from them saying thank you.
That has to feel good too.
It does. You're not sure how you did with some of these graduates, and then all of a sudden you get an email and you're like, okay, I did connect with that person. So
that's the life of an educator, though. Really,
it truly is.
And I want to educate our viewers, if they're not familiar. Hardin County Schools has done a fantastic job with creating and fostering workforce readiness through workforce certification, and correct me on this, Greg Sutton and John Wright, but I would go as far to say as strong JROTC programs are also part, maybe not officially, but part of that workforce certification.
We contribute definitely. Yeah. We hold our students to a higher standard, even in school. So if one of our students is not doing well in a class, I'll get a call from that teacher, and they feel like they can connect with me and say, hey, so-and-so's not doing well in my class. Okay, we're part of the team too, so we'll see we'll help you out and see if we can help that student out and get them on the right path or get them to a passing grade that they need.
That's a great place to talk to the two of you about positive peer pressure. How have you been influenced, or how have you influenced one of your fellow JROTC members or colleagues or cohorts, or however you describe them? How have you helped them or been helped by them, maybe in a situation where you got stuck or things weren't going so well?
Well, I believe my first love to the program came from back in JTA. Me and Command Sergeant Major Varble, we were both in the JLC program with Mr. Caldwell. And my sister, she was actually in the ROTC program as well. So she helped, get the knowledge into me about how to wear the uniform, the different teams. So once I hit high school, I started joining teams, and I loved every single one of them. So I started going around, and I was like, hey, this is fun. You should join. And some of the cadets, they need more motivation than others. And I like to be a motivational person. I like, seeing the cadets talk to each other, work together, and, create a bond. So I believe I've brought a few cadets, just like all my other seniors. I believe we've contributed to the ROTC family, and I'm glad to have every single one of the cadets. They're amazing.
That's fantastic. And you, sir?
We're all, like I said before, we're all pretty close. Of course, the freshmen, they're not as close together normally because, it's the first year, they're not they don't know anybody. But by the time the year ends, we're all pretty close. We all know each other pretty well. If we ever, especially in the senior class, if we need something, like, hey, can you help me with this? And like, yeah, sure. Because, by that time, like I said before, we're all so close, we might as well be family.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. And two, back in the day, asking for help was seen as a sign of weakness, but it sounds like you're strengthened through being able to ask for help, or for someone to ask either of you for help.
Help shouldn't, in our society, we've made it that help is like a bad thing, which I don't believe it should be. If you're asking for help, you're taking a step to become a better person. That's how I view it. Now, some of our cadets, they come up and they ask, like, hey, we need help, and some of them, they don't really say anything. So we encourage them, if you need help, just come up and ask us. Like, you don't need to be shy. If you are shy, then you can come and talk to us, like, individually. But I feel like if you can help a cadet, you change their day. So, like, you can motivate them. They can be feeling sad. You can, make a joke. You can just make their day. And asking for help is, that one step to become a better person.
Mm-hmm. And I would say it also improves teamwork, which is essential.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you see, sir, when it comes to students' peer mentoring?
Well, just this week, we've had 4 new students join the program, and it's not because of the work of me or any of the instructors. It was other students. They liked it so much. They're our best recruiters. They told their best friends to join the program, and that's a pretty good jump. 4 students in 1 week. And
that's a great recruiting team.
It is. So apparently they're doing something right. We're doing something right. They're happy. They want their friends to join them. And like the cadet sergeant major was saying, a lot of the freshmen, they're so new to school and they just don't know a whole lot. But when they join JRTC, they've immediately joined a team, a family, and they can say hi to people in the hallway, and they know that, hey, I know that maybe there's a junior or senior that's got my back while I'm going through school. So I hope that answered your question.
It does, and it really helps for underclassmen, especially for fitting in and the social emotional component too. And then again, if you feel confident and you feel safe, then you can absolutely grow as a person, as an individual. And Abound, we talk a lot about core values and trying to live out those core values. If I were to ask the 3 of you what you think, and it doesn't have to be official, what do you think a core value of JROTC is? You can name 1 or 2, or just a core value that stands out to each of you. I'd be interested in hearing that, sir.
I would have to say honesty, because you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest with the people around you. If you can get your honesty in check and you follow that every day, I think the rest of it kind of just falls into place.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of personal, and I'm hearing that from all 3 of you, a personal accountability with honesty. What about you, sir?
I 100% agree with Colonel Fowler here. It's just honesty, and then that, and maybe when you're honest with yourself, you're a bit more respectful around yourself and others. Just that's another one, respect, because you gotta be able to respect each other. Otherwise, the whole unit falls apart.
Yeah, and with respect comes trust.
Yeah.
So, what about you, ma'am?
For me, it's like they both said, but honestly, another one's leadership. In my opinion, you, in order to be a great leader, you also have to follow, orders from others. So you can't really build up to be a leader until you know the ropes of following instructions and, becoming your own self. But leadership, if you have bad leadership, you'll fail. If you have
and you learn from it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can look at poor leadership and say, when I'm in leadership,
oh yeah,
I don't want to repeat those things. Yeah.
And then if you're in good leadership, you can really connect with the cadets more. Like, if you're a good leader, you'll get to them more. You don't have to tell them multiple times to do this or, so leadership, I honestly think, is a real big thing in ROTC.
Sir, how do you think that would help in the workplace, being okay with following strong leadership?
Well, whenever you go to get a job, of course, you're always going to start at the bottom usually. You're not going to just start out like McDonald's or something and immediately become the general manager. It just doesn't work that way. And if you're all right with a leadership position and you're able to prove to yourself that you're good with leadership, you will eventually make yourself up to that general manager position, which in turn gets you more money sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So let's expand on that a little bit more. How do you plan to use what you're learning in leadership in the future?
Personally, you know, starting out as a freshman, like Command Sergeant Major Varvel said, you know, we all started as privates. And then as the years go by, the time we get cut down, and then senior year, we really find out, like, who was the best. Honestly, I think I'll use it. I know as soon as I go to college, ROTC's made me improve studying habits. So I know I'm gonna have to study for like exams and stuff like that. And being a registered nurse, there's that really big exam where you can actually be qualified. So I hope that whenever I go out into the world that I can become the best me that I can possibly be, and then, you know, work my way up like I did in ROTC, and maybe even become a doctor, honestly.
That's fantastic. I love to hear that. What a great group of people you brought today.
Yes, we're very proud of them.
Yeah, so if someone's watching and you're concerned about the future, don't be. This is fantastic. So let's talk about a core value of JROTC, and that's service. So what are some of the ways through the years that you two have given time to service? And let's be specific. We talked about helping at the state fair. Is there anything else that stands out in addition to the canned food drive? But we'll talk about that in a minute. Has there been a service component that really stands out to you?
State fair parking. I do day of service at North Hardin, and one of the things that we did was we went to the veterans home and we got up all the old mulch, because, you know, the veterans, they like to go outside and, you know, look around. So I felt that was a real good thing to give to the community and for people that have fought for me. I've done multiple teams: rifle, raiders, drill, color guard, honor guard, exhibition, and J-Lab. So after a while, my mom was like, you gotta pick two. So I feel like it's made me more punctual. You know, on time, look sharp, make sure everything is good, and then if you have time, you know, we all get together and we inspect each other, make sure everyone else looks good. So I love doing community service. I was born and raised in Kentucky, so I like giving back to those who have been around me for a while.
And let's talk about your community service experience. What stands out for you, sir?
Well, honestly, I'd have to say the canned food drive, because it's always really interesting. Normally, every year we pick around 4 or 5 juniors to go with us, and normally that gives them a pretty good idea of who's going to be in the next class that year, and, you know, next upcoming year. It stood out to me because I went last year and then this year as well. And I know whenever we do that, we take the cans to the church. I can't remember which church it is at the moment. But we would normally go to the Veterans Center, the Retired Veterans Center, and we give them like Christmas cards and stuff.
In Radcliffe.
Yeah. And that always to me, you know, those people who served before me, I've always looked up to them ever since I was a wee little kid, and getting to see those young men, old and young women, so to speak, it's always good to, you know, give back to those individuals and all individuals of the community.
And I'm sure they appreciate your visit too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Well, let's expand on the canned food drive. Let's talk about the background of it first, because not everyone is familiar.
I really don't know the year it started. I'm going to say it was started by Sergeant Major Gray, who started the program in 1993. I don't know if he exactly started it the next year or whatever, but it was started by Sergeant Major Gray. It's a great day. We take the seniors, well, first of all, we start in October collecting cans, and we typically collect up to 5,000 cans to distribute to 50 families in the community. And those families are hand-selected by our Youth Service Center. So they've been vetted, and it's been proven that they're in need of this stuff for a Christmas dinner. So we do all this is going on between October and about the last Friday before Christmas break, and then the seniors come in with their uniforms on. We've already packed everything into what we call egg crates. They're very sturdy. We can get all kinds of food in there. We take them to a grocery store that will donate the turkeys and maybe the frozen pumpkin pies and things like that, and we put those all together. And then we distribute these things to the church, and we put them all together for the youth service to turn around and hand those out to the families about an hour and a half after we leave.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's not the end of the day. So like the Cadet Sergeant Major said, then we go over to we do treat them to lunch, but before we treat them to lunch, we stop by the cemetery, and we go and pay homage to Sergeant Major Gray, who's buried there. And usually, surprisingly, about every year, a cadet will come up to me and go, my dad's buried over here. Can we go see him? Absolutely. Stop the bus, and we'll let that student, and I'll go with them, and we'll pay respects to their loved one who passed and is buried there. Mm-hmm. And then we feed them, and then we go over to the Veterans Center. And like the Cadet Sergeant Major said, we bring them Christmas cards, but the biggest thing we do is we sit down and we talk to them. And we specifically ask for those who don't get any visitors. Yeah. And it's usually the Christmas season. And they love it because they have a whole bunch of veterans that don't get any visitors. So we just swarm them with about 50 kids. They're all dressed up like this. Yeah. So they get all tickled and they love it. And then it was surprising the last time we did it was 2020. And a couple of my students said, I made friends with that guy. I'm gonna write him when I go to basic training.
Wow.
So. And unfortunately, we didn't get to do it this year due to COVID, and nobody was allowed in. And so it was kind of a sad thing that we didn't get to do that. Hopefully, we'll get to do that in the future. So we teach them to give back. We teach them to pay homage to those who have passed before us, particularly those that wore the uniform. And we also pay homage to those that wore the uniform before us and are in the sunset of their life.
Incredible. Wow. This is such a pleasure to get to know all the details for me and for the viewers, I'm sure. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to see what you do in the future. And sir, congratulations to you. And I'm looking forward to reading things in the paper and on social and seeing you on the news, both of you helping communities as adults as well. And just what a great group of young people. Thank you for bringing them. So how can viewers follow events that you have coming up or contribute to your Canned Food Drive or come to see some of the exhibitions?
Well, we hope to be on a normal schedule next year. The best way to find us is go to our North Hardin website. In there is North Hardin JRTC tab. Also, we're on Facebook, and we have people posting things about us on there. So the school has a good job of posting what we're doing, so you can check us out daily by looking at our Facebook page for North Hardin. We try every week to put stuff to the person in charge of that so that JRTC gets its fair share of postings. And then obviously the other place is the North Hardin website.
Fantastic. Well, I encourage all viewers to find out more and then contribute this year to the Canned Food Drive. And I think you'll get to go back to the Veterans Center this year.
Yeah, I hope so.
All of you be well, and thank you for joining me today. And thank you for watching. We appreciate you, and we'd love to hear about what's going on in the community. And please share this on YouTube. And thank you for watching Issues and Insights on HCEC-TV. I'm Holly Sexton with the Bound Credit Union. Have a good day.